Manga readers and Megumi fans rejoice, because Gojo's getting his famous Reversal Red plus Black Flash combo, and Megumi is getting Chimera Shadow Garden. Z showed some stuff in his development streams that sneak both a new variant to Reversal Red in the Awakening and Chimera Shadow Garden, which seems to have the area expand in a completely different way than everything else. Let's start by talking about Gojo's Awakened Red variant. Before that though, I want to thank System Error on Discord for getting me all these sneaks, because without them recording all of this footage, I wouldn't have any of it. Major shout out to them. Now, let's start. The Reversal Red plus Black Flash combo that Z sneaked does the same shot for Reversal Red, but if the laser misses, it shoots out a red ball in whatever direction the user faces, before it spins around and homes in on somebody. Once it hits someone, the victim will fly over to the user of the move, who will then proceed to do a Black Flash for extra damage, knocking whoever is hit away. It's a reference to this scene from the manga. The move itself doesn't actually do that much damage, at least from what I'm seeing, but that could be temporary, seeing as it's still being made. A very funny thing to note about this move is that it is capable of doing self-damage and hitting a user if the ball happens to track onto them, which deals damage, ragdolls, and flings the user. I have no idea how the homing system works, but my assumption is that the ball just homes on to whoever is closest to it. The sneak doesn't make it clear, and I really don't have any clue on how the homing works, so if someone who was there understands it, explain it in the comments and I'll pin you. The Reversal Red projectile will go through walls, and if it hits someone who's separated from the user by a wall, whoever is hit will just fly through it to go to the user. Something very interesting about the move as well is that if you hit someone directly with Reversal Red, the ball will not go to them, but will instead hit the user instead. This means a lot of things for sure. First, it means the red probably can't hit Ragdoll, and won't count Ragdoll people as targets for the homing. Second, it likely means this is a variant you have to manually activate, creating a decision between trying to hit Reversal Red normally, or trying to miss it and go for this instead. Finally, it means that the move has way more depth to it than just being some straight buff and a crutch you can rely on if you miss Reversal Red, which is a good thing in my opinion. It honestly just looks cool and definitely really strong, but I have one major concern, which is, how the hell are you supposed to avoid it? Watching the footage, there doesn't seem to be a clear indicator to tell whether or not the user is using this version or the normal one, so you can't just try to intentionally get yourself hit, and even then, the move still does high damage if it does hit, so that's less counterplay and more so a catch-22. My guess on how you're meant to deal with it is that you have to block the projectile, though it does seem like that might be a little bit tough with how fast the projectile is and how weird its arc is. It could also just be a new situation where the move only tracks for a certain part and then misses if the person just moves enough. Probably not a problem though if you consider that this is an Awakening move, which is sort of meant to be unbalanced. Overall, it just looks super fun, and I think the self-damage could lead to a lot of hilarious things happening. Really, I'm just looking forward to more content, and also more Gojo stuff that might offset the Yuji Apocalypse in Ranked. So hey, let's see how it goes. As for Megumi's domain, there really isn't much to dig into, except for how the barrier works. Megumi's barrier isn't like the others, in that instead of making a bubble and teleporting everybody to a different location, it actually stays in the main map, and basically turns the terrain around you into the walls. It'll climb up buildings to turn them into part of the domain, and if it does that, it'll also make some invisible walls that'll plug up any doorways which people would normally just be able to leave through. However, you can just break the walls to get out of it, and if the move isn't used in a building, you can skip all of that and simply walk out. What the domain actually does isn't clear yet. If you use Megumi's R, you basically go invisible since the domain floor covers up your shadow trail, but other than that, there's no benefits shown from it, probably because his awakening is incredibly incomplete. I'm guessing it will do some special stuff though, and my prediction is that the domain itself will slow people who walk in it, and also make whatever moves Megumi uses a lot stronger if used on people who are in the domain's range. It can also just shorten cooldowns, but that's boring. My main concern with this move is basically what I like to call the ABA law effect, or really just a problem with characters that can make a little zone their opponent doesn't want to go into, and then camp inside. If the opponent goes into the zone, they get absolutely mollywopped by whatever buffs the user gets, and if they decide to stay out, both players end up doing some boring game of chicken, where they wait until either one person decides to break the stalemate and put themselves at a disadvantage, or the domain runs out and there's no advantage or disadvantage to work with. It's why I kind of hate Law in Anime Battle Arena, because of how a lot of games revolve around waiting for the room to run out, or trying to be aggressive and just flat out losing. But I think it won't actually be that big of a problem here, and the reason why I think it won't be that big of an issue is because it's an awakening move, and Megumi does not want to camp in their domain and wait for the opponent to come to them, because then they lose all the advantages their awakening gives them, and the time they have to do their dumb moves, or presumably dumb moves because the awakening moves aren't out yet. Basically what I'm saying is that the Megumi user won't camp in their domain because they're going to run out of awakening and shoot themselves in the foot. It's an interesting idea Z is making, and more so than anything, I just want to see how the hell it turns out, because his awakening is still unfinished, and there's no point in trying to talk about balance problems when it comes to something that doesn't have everything fully fleshed out. Overall, none of this stuff really tells us all that much, but it's cool either way. The new Gojo sneaks seem like it'll just be a cool addition to Gojo's awakening, and also just add in some stuff for manga readers to obsess over. As for Chimera Shadow Garden, it seems like it'll be lots of fun for Megumi users to just turn random buildings on the map into the domain, but I'm almost worried that people will just walk out of it way too easily, especially in ranked where buildings don't exist. Still, this is not a competitive Battlegrounds game, so having things be canon over being really strong is perfectly fine. Even with that, there's probably going to be something added to Megumi's kit, or even just a domain, that makes it really hard for people to escape from it, so that it doesn't just become useless. Maybe you can corner people with the invisible barriers or something, but that's up to players to figure out, and not for me to speculate about. Rule of cool is what matters in this game anyways, more so than making it some perfect fighting game with impeccable balance. Basically, Z is cooking. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel for even more of my yapping. I'm Noob Eternally, thanks for taking the time to watch all of this, and I'll see you next time in another video. Bye.